Todd Bensman joins us now. He's the author of Overrun and also a senior fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies. He has been down on the border. He is not in Mexico anymore. Thank goodness. Welcome back. How are you, Todd?
Great. Thanks for having me. Just got back last night, back to Austin.
So tell me what, so you're not really in America even.
Yeah.
So tell me what you saw over the weekend at the border.
Sure. Well, throughout the week, of course, it was just a storming of the border, thousands and thousands crossing through Matamoros to Brownsville, and I was there on the Mexican side watching them go. Eventually, the Texas governor was able to shut that down by, for the first time ever, deploying tactical units of the National Guard and DPS, Texas Department of Public Safety, right down on the riverbank behind a razor wire, and would not let the immigrants pass no matter what they did. They just would not. And they had pepper balls, to fire at them if it got out of hand. But they shut down that hole, and that was the biggest hole in the border. Then Title 42 ended, and we are seeing kind of a pause, not just because of what Texas did, but there's general sort of nervousness about the new strategy, the new Biden strategy about, how they can exploit it. They have not figured out quite yet how to exploit it. But what I would tell you is that there are huge loopholes in this thing that are sitting there ready to be discovered. And when I was in Reynosa a few days ago, which is 40, 50 miles upriver from Matamoros, at least 15,000 Haitians pooled up there, all just in a tizzy and swirling around about, what is the new strategy, Biden's strategy. And there were NGOs throughout that camp who were explaining to them, what the new strategy is and undoubtedly what the loopholes are. So my anticipation is that before too long, they will figure it out. Immigrants are smart people. They pay very close attention to any crevice, any way they can kind of get around the new regime. And I do anticipate that there will be a gradual increase over time, and then back to normal again. Every time there's a major policy change, there's a kind of a pause down there on the border while people figure it out. So I think that's where we are right now. The administration is taking victory laps over this, but it's a little bit early for any kind of a victory lap because that underestimates the cunning caginess of the huge population down there and the NGOs and the lawyers that are all down there championing for them about what's happening. And I can pause there. There's one more thing I'd like to say about something a little bit different, but I could pause if you want to have it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of the main cornerstones of the new strategy is this pre-legalization scheme. They're handing out humanitarian permits to thousands and thousands now down there, kind of like a pressure cooker, steam escape, right? Kind of a way to, like, there's hope, right? We'll let you in this legal way. And so they have really opened the aperture on that. They were letting in, 30,000 a month of 4 or 5 different nationalities, and they have widened that up open to tens of thousands more for every kind of all nationalities can just get pre-legalized on an app, like a restaurant reservation app on your phone.
And when you do that, don't you get a court date like at 2035?
Yeah, well, you can. I mean, initially they just let you in on a humanitarian parole. The humanitarian parole is good for up to 2 years, and they give you work authorization and everything. And I'll point out that they claim that they're vetting everybody. They're not vetting anybody, and they're also giving out, 99% of all applicants who even apply for it. So they're not even declining anybody. It's just an escape, a steam escape hatch kind of a thing. And when I crossed back over yesterday morning from Matamoros through to Brownsville on the bridge, the line of people who had been granted CBP-1 humanitarian parole was 100 yards long, 3 feet deep, 4 feet deep, 100 yards long. Jeez. And it just goes on and on like that. They're just pouring in. They would have come in illegally. Now they can't be counted as illegal. But keep in mind that is going on all along the border, just thousands and thousands more being just brought in this way. So when they claim a victory lap, they're not telling you about that operation. And that operation is under court challenge right now. 20 states, including Texas, have challenged the legality of that. I'm not a lawyer, but it's illegal. I'm sorry. It just completely on its face is illegal. And at any moment, a federal judge in the Fifth Circuit is going to strike that thing down. And then they won't have that escape hatch anymore. And that is something that needs to be watched as well.
Todd, I have to tell you, this is an invasion, not by a nation, but it is an invasion into our country. This is when they opened the gates at Rome. They just let everybody in, and there weren't enough Roman citizens to keep it Rome. And that's not a race thing. That's nothing. All I want is a group of people that understand the Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, and our Bill of Rights. If you want to do that, I welcome you here. I welcome you. But they're not coming for any of that. And I don't know why the governor of Texas is acting more like the governor of Massachusetts at this point. I don't know why we are not calling it an invasion, and the government has let the people down. Well, yeah. I mean, so one thing about Greg Abbott and what he did down there is, a lot of people are saying it was too late. This thing's been going on for 2.5 years, and so he gets criticized for whatever he does. But I will say that, I was on the ground there, and I was the first to report it. And in fact, I'm told that the governor ordered this as a result of my videos showing these people just pouring through unopposed. And he was angry about it and said, get our people down there and shut it down. But I will attribute. But that was one border crossing. One. Yes, it was a big one, but it was one. And he's saying that from this point forward, and you can look for this, hold him to account, that he's going to have these rapid reaction teams that will run to any place that's being overrun and on federal land and do this. The Biden administration is saying that they think it's illegal, and they've got the Department of Justice exploring ways to shut down the governor's operation. So this thing's not over. We're going to probably hear more about this one way or another, what the governor is doing. But I will say that when I talked to all the immigrants for 2 days after that they were saying, we're not crossing now because those troopers over there won't let us through, so we're not even going to try. And Mexican immigration officials on the ground, when I asked them how come nobody's crossing, they said it's because of them over there. So I believe that this shows that they could do something. Of course they can. Of course they can. Yeah. So, and he won't be able to not do this again now that he's shown that it works. So anyway, there's that. Maybe it's late, but listen, I've been down there for 2.5 years covering this thing, Glenn. And in the 2.5 years, all I have ever seen is just mass storming of the border with a welcome committee over there on our side, a red carpet, welcome wagon, watch your step, move up to the left, up the riverbank. There's a processing over there. You'll get your number punched. And that's all it's ever been. And this is the first time I actually saw big, brawny guys with guns saying, "You will not pass."
So, I mean, I was glad to see it.
That's nice. Now, one of the things that happened, we had somebody cross over that's on a wanted list. Do you know anything about that? And how many of these people do you think have come through from our enemies?
That's a major problem. That's an Afghan. He's on the FBI watch list. Last year, we had 98 of those that we apprehended. We've had 80 just so far. Actually, I think it's more than 80 just so far in this fiscal year. That is a huge number of people on a terror watch list. Also, there's video fresh out in the Yuma area of just hundreds and hundreds of Egyptians and Sudanese crossing in last night. Sudanese, Egyptian, and Mauritanians, the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. They're tossing their identifications and passports and all of that on the Mexican side before they cross. That's the reason they're coming in is because the new strategy, the Biden strategy of expedited removal, can't be applied to them as easily right now because, you know, they live in countries that won't accept them or where we don't have agreements to send them yet. And so those are the people that are crossing in right now. Very disturbing. This is a national security crisis as well as a mass migration crisis more generally.
Todd, I just, you know, for those of us who lived through September 11th said we'd never forget. We are worse. We would slap ourselves silly if we could meet ourselves of 20-some years ago. Todd, thank you so much.
That's a great way to put that. That's a great way to put that. I'm going to steal that.
You steal from me, you've stolen twice, Todd. Thank you.
Okay.
God bless.